Okay, I may have finally caved and started using these, hang on, what's the word? Wingers that you lot keep telling me are so great. Hello and welcome to Club 5, Part 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're away against West Ham and at home against Leeds, both in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, we've played a few games with some mixed results. That's the day we switched to playing with wingers. We used a 4-2-3-1 in that game. We were still experimenting though, so we went to Arsenal in the FA Cup. That's who we got in the next round in the FA Cup. We got absolutely thumped using a 4-3-3 wide thing, 4-5-1 dearly. And then we kind of messed around with the different options over the next few games. Tried a bit of 4-3-3 again. It worked against Stoke. Didn't work at all against Chelsea. Went back to the 4-2-3-1. And although it looks like we got thumped by Liverpool, it was actually a fairly close game. We were ahead, I think. We were ahead and missed a penalty. We were dominating that first half, playing really, really well. And they just kind of thumped us late on. And why does it look like they scored 4 goals? Oh, no, it's a missed penalty. Okay. But I think we played really well in that game. So we carried it on into Brighton and won as well. So it's still very much an experimentation process. That experiment has taken us up to the giddy heights of 11th place on 40 points. So we've hit the mythical 40 points that in theory guarantees our survival for a year, which was a pre-season target. So that is all good. What's not so good is the fact that some of the players I was building these winger tactics around have only gone and got themselves injured. The silly bears. If we have a look at the state of this. So Suto, been playing as a wide advanced playmaker, has been absolutely superb. How do we look at his form? I mean, okay, perhaps not that superb. He was good in that game. He's not been playing anywhere near as well as I thought he was. Perhaps it's good that he's injured. But he's out for the rest of the season. He's picked up an injury. Ethan Galbraith was really important for us early in the season as our deep line playmaker. Finally got himself fit. He was fit, got into that game, got himself injured. He's now out for 3 weeks. The worst one, though, Paulo Cesar, he was injured for ages. If we have a look on his form, injured for ages, finally comes back to light training in his first day back training, recurrence of the same torn hamstring. It's the second time in his career he's had a recurrence of an injury. I think this lad might be a little bit injury prone, but he's also going to be out for the rest of the season. Callum Wilson is injured as well. So we're getting down to bare bones, but we do still have enough to throw together a 4-2-3-1. So that's what we're going to persist with. And Jordan Amavi's injured as well. Why can't I even... Oh, hang about. Jordan Amavi was injured. He's now not injured again. That's weird. Did he even miss a game? Did I dream Jordan Amavi getting injured? No form data. Is Jordan Amavi real? Did he have an injury? He's been injured for 3 weeks, but not missed a game, has he? Hang on. This is important. No, he was injured, but now he's fit again. Gotta stop picking the team on the morning that I record the videos so that I remember what's going on. This is the team that we're putting out there for today's game away against West Ham, and we are going counter-attacking because we're away from home. We're still using control at home, counter-attacking away from home. We'll see how it works out. Like I say, we're still very much experimenting with this system. A lot of our team instructions are very similar to what we were using before. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it, and obviously then got the weekend to play with tactics as well as we cruise through to the end of the season. So we've got Svilar in goal, a back four of Amavi, Panzo, Oliveira and Ralston with Onomar and Storaro in midfield. Ball-winning midfielder, he's been really good. This is where I have a look at his recent form when he's been rubbish. He's actually been pretty decent playing as the ball-winning midfielder. And then we've got Miller up front, who genuinely has been awesome. Looking at his form, yeah, he's been good. Scoring lots of goals. I mean, he's scoring and getting a low rating. How do you even manage that, Jonathan Miller? Goodness me, but he's going to be a superstar for us. And then behind him, we've got Adonis, Almeida and Rollheiser, because we are running out of attacking midfielders and inexplicably running out of wingers as well. I'm kind of regretting Zeknini not being in our Premier League squad because I just thought, well, he's a winger, there's no point. He's like the 6th best player at the club. But in order to get the new signings in January, I had to remove someone, so I removed him. Could have probably done with him now. Right, let's get into this game. Let's see how we go. And where are West Ham in the league? West Ham are below us in the league. Still very much in a relegation battle. A win for them today probably keeps them in the Premier League because it's a decent-sized gap with not very many games left to go. But a win for us could see us closing in on the top half of the table. And I think even that, I know we were in a Champions League spot when I arrived, but remember, that was 3 games into the season. They just had a good start to the season. No one was realistically expecting European qualification this year, I don't think, even though I might have said it would be fun. But remember, Leicester have finished 15th in the Premier League the last 2 years in a row. So if we can end up, even where we are now, finishing 11th, that's a definite sign of progress on where this club have been. 2 years in a row at 15th, before that down in the Championship. So definitely progress is being made. And if we can push into the top half of the table, that's going to bode really well as we go into next season. And next season, if we can bring the right players in over the summer and figure out what I want to do tactically, then we might have an outside chance at a push for European qualification. This is my issue that I have with counter-attacking, though. We're not creating anything. We've had 1 shot on target in half an hour. No, not even a half chance. We're dominating possession, but it's all in our half. Who cares? Right, Rollheiser, what can he do? This is his first start since the change in tactic. And Miller is in behind and scores. Jonathan Miller is a superstar. Tell you what, this lad, he's young, he's English. This is his first season in the Premier League. And he's got 5-star potential that he is very quickly closing in on. Plus, now he's playing as a lone striker. He's starting to score a lot of goals as well. I'm really looking forward to a future where we've got both him and Cesar as options, either as lone strikers and just having them fight for a place, or if we can find a way to get the two of them playing together and switch the system up a little bit again, that could be very awesome too. But here is Miller, falling very deep. It's Adonis out wide. Can he square it? He finds Rollheiser on the stretch and he forces a save out of the West Ham keeper. In fact, it hit the post, I think, because we didn't win a corner from it. But all is good at the moment. We're approaching half-time. 1-0 up, and a 1-0 win puts us just 1 point behind Tottenham, who are in 10th place. I've got my heart set on a top half of the table finish now. How many games are it? It says 6 games left after this one. So what we'll probably do, we'll obviously show you these 2 games today, and then on Monday we'll have the final 2 games of the season, possibly with a little bit of tactical development again. And then, no promises, but maybe, just maybe, Tuesday morning next week, about 9:30, 10ish, I might stream the transfer window here on YouTube and then scamper off, record the video for Tuesday afternoon. So don't hold me to it, but we did it before with Back in the Borough, and it was really, really popular. People loved having a weekday morning stream, so we might just do that. Miller has picked up a bit of a knock. We'll just have this corner, and then I think we're going to take him off. We've got a few strikers on the bench as options, and I thought that was going to pinball itself into the back of the net. Alas, it did not. What's wrong with Miller? Please don't let it be. Oh, foot injury. Right. Jesse Lingard's going to come on, but I'm not playing him up front. Adonis or Rollheiser? Who's better? Rollheiser's better as an inside forward, so we'll put Adonis up front. I mean, that looks like it works quite well. And then Amavi, we'll take him off. He's not playing great, plus he's recovering from that injury that apparently he had. No one really remembers it. That would do for now. We're already on counter-attacking, aren't we? Good. We'll stay on counter-attacking and hopefully not let West Ham back into the game. What I'd like to do, anytime you're ready, Football Manager, what I'd like to do is get a second goal. A second goal would be delightful because it makes it less likely that we won't win the game then. I mean, it's all about probability and odds. If we're winning 2-0, we're less likely to lose than if we're winning 1-0. Miller still on the pitch, probably his last touch. That was absolutely awesome for an injured Jonathan Miller. Just runs it down the line and sort of stumbles it across the penalty area. I don't really know what their goalkeeper's up to here, why he doesn't just boot this clear as it runs across the face of goal. But Miller did brilliantly. This is basically a man with 1 foot. Just, what was their keeper doing? As that runs past him, just put your foot through it. It wasn't even going that fast. But Adonis is there, ready to pounce. Pounce he does. And now he gets to move up front to see if he can add to his tally. West Ham attacking, but Lingard gets to tackle him. Lingard was not playing at all before we switched to wide players. Now he's getting in occasionally. Adonis, that was superb! How did he miss, though? We've got players who can move the ball past opposition defenders, and they just weren't doing it in a 4-3-1-2, and I don't really know why. Because Adonis isn't even playing out wide now. He's playing as an advanced forward. It's an instruction that we use in the 4-3-1-2. So he could have played this exact role in exactly the same way in that system, but just wasn't doing things like that then. Right, we're just going to swap those two around. Mahrez is going to be the playmaker on this right-hand side, which is what Suto had been doing. Drop him down to support, so I'm going to put Lingard on attack. Just to balance it out a little bit. You want someone on attack in that line of three, just so the striker doesn't get too isolated, especially as I have the striker on an attacking instruction. We don't want him to be just sort of stood there on his own with no one anywhere near him. I need to be careful. People might actually think I've got a semi-understanding of how this tactical thing works. Just take it down a notch, Kev. Maybe bring on a couple of fullbacks. Hoof the ball up a bit. Got a reputation to maintain. Right, Almeida. To Lingard, back to Panzo. Let's grab a third, gentlemen. No? Brilliant. Hopefully, final whistle goes. It does. Tottenham look like they've won as well. So it's now Brighton that we're chasing down. We now play Leeds, who are another team just below us. I don't really get what screen we've ended up on there. That was weird. Miller's only going to be out for 2 days. Let's go play Leeds. No changes for the Leeds game then, other than a tactical tweak. We've gone to control rather than counter, and we've stuck Adonis onto attacking along with Rollheiser, so we get both of them up there supporting Miller. Miller is fit to play. We've had like a 4-day gap. He was only injured for 2 games. So fingers crossed he continues being the awesome hero that he has been over the last 6 weeks or so. Let's get into the game. Free-flowing attacking play. Always. It's what we always, apart from in that last game. But normally we're looking for free-flowing attacking football. It's where it's at. So, let's grab an early goal. An early goal would be delightful. I want to see a little bit more from us going forward in this game. None of this sitting back and knocking the ball around in our own half. We're playing on control. I want to get the ball up there and create some chances. If we're not going to be able to do that in this 4-2-3-1, it makes me really start to question it. I don't just want to be a counter-attacking team. That's boring. I'd rather lose a few more games, but have the option to win 6-0 every now and again, rather than just consistently grinding out 1-0s and 2-1s. There's no fun in that for me. I don't just want to win things. I want to win things with style, even if it takes longer. Right, Miller. What can he do? Not really very much. Doesn't find our man. And let's have another look at that league table again to see who we're chasing down, but it's disappeared. Hey, it's over here. What do you know? That's a lovely ball over the top to Adonis, who hits the post. He gets into some lovely positions, drifted in from wide in that inside forward role. I'm a little bit wary of having 2 inside forwards in the team. We weren't doing it when we had Suto fit. We had him out there as an advanced playmaker, and he was sort of drifting further back. He was doing it on support, drifting a little bit deeper and joining the midfield too, getting in behind Almeida and Miller, and it worked really nicely, but we don't really have anyone else who can do it other than Mahrez, and Mahrez, it's like playing a little old man. I don't really want a little old man on the pitch. I'm just ready for him to move on. So Rollheiser wants to be an inside forward, as does Adonis. They're the two best players, but they are very similar in how they play. So I'm not entirely sure they work together long term. They looked all right in the last game, and obviously long term we're going to have Suto back, so it's not a long term issue. But I am a little bit worried now about today, especially as we've just conceded a penalty. It's all on what's his face, Villar, is that his name? Something like that. But we're now 1-0 down, and that gap between us and the top half of the table is starting to widen just a little bit. So we need a result today. We're completely safe, but we need a result to get ourselves into the top half of the table. So Adonis back to Storaro and Almeida. See, Rollheiser's still really far forward. I want him getting back there with Almeida the way Suto was, even though apparently Suto wasn't playing very well when he was doing it. I don't know. Leeds seem to be getting a lot of the ball, although we've had more possession according to the stats. I wonder how much of it's actually been useful possession. The front three combining nicely there. Adonis across to Miller, and then it ends up with Rollheiser, who was offside, but forces a save out of their keeper. And we do seem to be having a few more attacking highlights than we were when we were on counter-attacking. Miller drifting out wide. Adonis is in the middle, as is Rolheiser. That's the advantage of having the two inside forwards. They're both getting into the penalty area for when Miller does drift wide, as he is wont to do. Amavi, massive deep cross. Can't find Rolheiser. But Almeida, fouled maybe? No? People have said in the comments, every time you're tackled in the penalty area, it's a foul, Kev. You're right, it is. Every time we're tackled in the penalty area, it's a foul. Adonis brings that down brilliantly. There's Miller, and that's 1-1. And Adonis has been superb in these last two games. I was a little bit critical of him in some of the earlier episodes because of the injury problems that he was going through. But with the full-on injury crisis in play, he's suddenly got himself fit, and playing as an inside forward is an absolute hero. I think we've found Adonis's home. And it is out on that left-hand side, drifting in, doing magic when he does it. Right, let's go into... I'd like to be in the lead going into the second half. So if we can grab another goal, gentlemen. I've called him gentlemen twice today. Been very formal. I don't really know these lads yet. I've been here less than a season. I'll start calling them abusive nicknames probably midway through next season. For now, I'm still trying to show a little bit of respect. Show them that facade that... I'm a respectful man. We're not mugging them because it's a draw. If we go ahead, we'll be mugging them. Unless we go ahead with a clear-cut chance. All these rules are so complicated. Almeida's not having a very good game at all. He's been the one downside to the 4-2-3-1. He was an absolute hero in the 4-3-1-2. But for some reason, I don't know if it's because we're playing with wide men who are tucking inside quite a lot and maybe getting in his way, cramping his style a little bit. When he was controlling that area behind a front two, he was absolutely superb. Not so much in this system. It might even be that he was a playmaker when we were doing that, I think. Whereas now I've got him in his preferred role as an attacking midfielder, which perhaps he's not as good at. But we're going to take him off and move Onomar further forward and get Mbula on, who's probably feeling a little bit hard done by that he's not getting in the team anymore. But Onomar's very good in that attacking midfielder role. Rolheiser's not had the best of games, so I think we will bring on Mahrez and stick him in that advanced playmaker, drop in a little bit deep. No, we're going to keep him further forward. No, we're going to do that. And can we push this guy further forward? We can. So we just want Mahrez tucking into these areas here in front of Mbula, sort of alongside Onomar, behind him a little bit, maybe. I don't know if it's going to work, but Suto did it brilliantly. Right, Amavi. Big cross again, and there's no one there because we've moved Mahrez out of that inside forward role where he would have been hanging around, or Rolheiser was hanging around before. And so there's no one there to get on the end of Amavi's cross. Mbula, down to Mahrez. There you go. Nice and deep. That's where we wanted him. And there's Miller. And forces a save out of their keeper. Would have been nice to see him score. I mean, let's not fancy it up a little bit. I would have quite liked him to score a goal there. Last substitution. Here it comes. Onomar's struggling a little bit fitness-wise. I mean, not massively more than anybody else. Who have we got on the bench? Who have we got as a game changer? I mean, the closest to a game changer we've got is Jesse Lingard. So he's good there. So let's bring him on doing that. I know I was waxing lyrical about Adonis before, but he's played a lot of games and he's had injury problems, and Mahrez has just scored. Is that onside? It's not. I mean, he did look to be in an awful lot of space. Yeah, never mind. Come on, let's grab a winner. We've got like a minute to grab. I mean, a draw's not a disaster, but I would have expected better against Leeds, who are down in 14th place. It's a team we should be able to beat, but we've been really evenly matched on the day, so I can't really complain too much. All of the stats show two very, very similar teams. Mahrez dropping deep again, finding Miller. There's Lingard tucking inside, and Onomar rushing on, but just doesn't have a finish in him, and I think that's probably going to be the last kick. It was 1-1, not a disaster. And, I mean, we are just cruising towards the end of the season now. We're not in any kind of relegation fear. And Monday's episode will be those final two games of the season, which will be against West Brom and Bournemouth. Hopefully, still in with a chance of pushing into the top half of the table, although we've got to get through Man City, Tottenham and Man United by then. So there's every chance we're going to be down here by the time we get into those last two games. Still not in any relegation trouble, but with no chance at all at the top half of the table. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.